Hey everybody, it's Keith with Strength After Stroke, and today I just wanted to share my story with you guys. I was the owner of one of the owners of a fairly large manufacturing company, and we had in Oregon. And one day I was feeling off a bit. I was getting ready to go to Seattle for a business trip. And so I was preparing for that. I was going to leave the next day. And so um, I just felt off. I was like, what's going on? I think I'll just go take a quick nap. And so I, uh, I go and I lay down. And the next thing I know, it's 4 o'clock or so when my wife gets home from work. And I was still in bed, laying there sleeping. And so um, my wife is like, what's going on, and so she checks me out and looked in my mouth and did a bunch of stuff like that, and everything seemed okay. So I remember I ate dinner in bed, and then I just went back to sleep. And my wife gets up the next morning. She got up really early because she had to be to work by 5 o'clock. And so she got up really early and she kind of checked on me and stuff and went ahead and went to work. And I got up and showered and got ready for the day. And that day I was going to drive to Seattle, which was 3.5 hours from where I was living. So I get this phone call. I would always get calls from my nephew and business partners and stuff early in the morning. We'd talk about businesses and stuff like that. So I get this call from my nephew, and we start talking. He's like, "What is going on with you, Uncle Keith?" And I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about," you know. And apparently I wasn't making any sense at all. And so then he said, "Don't make me a promise. Don't go anywhere. I'll get right back to you." Okay. So then my business partner calls me, and we had the same experience. The next thing I know, my wife gets home from work and takes me to the hospital. I ended up going to 3 different hospitals because I have a rare disease that happened to me, and all that. So finally get out of the hospital, and I'm home, and I remember going back to the neurologist after that, and he says to me, he says, "Keith, you've got about a year and a half, and that is as good as it's going to get." Now, I had my stroke a while ago. It was actually in 2010. And so back then, they didn't know about we've come so far. Strokes now, we know that people can get better if you're willing to work at it, right? Anyways, but it was a blow to me. It was a really, really tough thing to hear. You got about a year and a half, and that's as good as it's going to get for you. Here I was, the owner of this manufacturing company. I was taking care of my family, and I remember standing in this picture window. We had this big picture window, and I remember looking out, and you could see it was a beautiful day. It was late fall, and the green grass was still there, but the colors were all changing in the trees. They had the bright reds and the yellows and the oranges, and off in the distance, was the mountain where we lived, and it was really beautiful. And I remember looking out that window and just thinking to myself, I think I'm going to end it. I seriously was debating suicide. Here I was, contributing to my family, and as a company, we had plans. I was working hard as the sales manager and one of the owners of this company, and we were going to sell it in about 10 years, and have my retirement would be all in place, and all that was gone. Life changed drastically, as I'm sure you can relate to. And I was standing there looking out that window thinking, what good am I? I had lots of life insurance, and I thought my family would probably be better off without me at that time. And it was a really dark time for me. I remember going into the owners, we had these owners meetings once I started going back into work. Now, when I started going back into work, I couldn't remember the product line. I couldn't remember some of my best customers' names. Even some of my partners, I would struggle with their names. It was a really tough time, as I'm sure you can relate to. And we go into these owners meetings we had every Friday. And we'd go around the table, and a lot of times we'd really get into it. We'd have a lot of arguments in these owner meetings. And I just remember, though, going around the table, and when it would come to me as a sales manager of this multi-million-dollar company that we had built, and I couldn't find words, and tears would just start rolling down my face. And it was embarrassing. And it was a tough time. It was a tough time. So right after that, it was shortly after that period that I was asked to actually leave the company. And again, it was another blow. It was a tough thing to go through. So I remember going back to this window again, and I'm standing in front of that window, and I'm thinking all these depressing, crappy thoughts that we're having. And I thought to myself, wait just a minute here. If I'm going through this, there's got to be a lot of other people who are experiencing the same thing that I am. There's got to be a lot of people who are going through depression and who are going through all these thoughts of what now with my life. I thought, wait just a minute. I can still be a good father. I can still be a great husband. I can be a good grandfather, a friend, everything. I can still do what I need to do. I just need to change my mind and start down the path of getting better, right? And so that's what I did. And it was very exciting to me. And so going through that, I decided to start coaching people. And so at first I started doing some one-on-one coaching with people, and I started building some programs and stuff to help people out. And so that's when I started Strength After Stroke, which is my company. And I'm very proud of it, frankly. And so after going through some things on starting these different ideas and stuff, then that's when BASE came to me. And BASE is a training that stands for Belief, Attitude, Strength, and Energy. Okay? And so it was after that I started the BASE program, and I wrote a document. It's about 75 pages long, and I started sharing that with people and getting it out to the stroke community. And what I discovered after doing some questions and answers and some research was that was too much too soon. People couldn't take this whole document and decipher it or swallow it, for lack of a better term. And so it was through that I then decided to make BASE into the document that it is today. Now, going back just a little bit more before I go down that road, when I went through all that and I was developing BASE and I started the whole BASE document, I still was going through some stuff. Let me be totally honest with you guys. I moved. I'm not even going to tell you how many times my wife and I moved, because after losing the company and all this, here I'd put my heart and soul into it, and life changed and it was upside down for a while. And even though I developed this program to help stroke survivors, I was still kind of reaching through some things myself. And I'm not gonna kid you guys. You're still gonna go through some of that. You still are going to have tough times, okay? But the choice that you make through those tough times is the key. You've got to decide that, yeah, you're gonna have some tough times, but you're still gonna make it. You're still gonna reach for whatever it is that you've got in your mind. the goals that you have that are out there that you know you want to accomplish, and you're just going to continue to go through it, and you will get there eventually. So the base was created, and when I developed this base program, now it's a 15 module course, because it was too much too soon, the big document. So now we have it broken down into 15 modules that takes 5 to 20 minutes to do. Each one of the modules has its own PDF and a worksheet that you can either work on it from your computer, download it, and you can actually type in it in the spots that the questions are in there, or you can print it and you can write, and you have that ability as well. I'm very, very proud of it. And also, we're going to be doing online training, and we're going to have a Facebook group. We're going to do all kinds of stuff like that as well. So I'm very excited about that. But so that is kind of my story. I hope that makes a difference for you. And really, I have a simple message. It's one of believing in yourself, right? Base. Think base. Belief. Believe in yourself and your own self-importance. And know that you can change your own attitude. You can take control of your behaviors, and you can make progress in your life. You can develop your own strength over time, and you can discover your full potential. And also you can begin to build on that and create more energy for yourself. And so I hope that this has helped you. That's kind of my story, and I'll leave you with that. Have a great day, and thanks for listening. Bye-bye.